Well, it's a beautiful autumn day again here today, so I thought I'd get out for a bit of a ride and talk about Harley's Nightster 975. Although I'm a big fan of the bike and really like it, there are a couple of little things that I would have tweaked, designer elements really, that I would have liked to have seen them make some changes on. So let's jump on the bike, enjoy this glorious autumn weather, and have a bit of a chat. So on my Nightster 975 video, I did talk about pricing and the pricing that the bike was being set at in Australia. I think from memory it's around $24,000, but I'll put the exact figure up here. And at the time I thought that was a bit steep, and we were paying a bit of a Harley tax there. But then when I thought about it more and more, all bikes are going up, and I think what we're looking at there is Harley just setting a price that's going to protect them a bit from inflationary increases, which are already here and we're feeling the effects of right now. And when I had a look at the new Scout Rogue and what it was priced at, I thought I'd better cut Harley some slack there. They're just obviously factoring in inflation. But overall, I'm a big fan of the Nightster 975. I really like the bike. When I look at the styling of the bike, it says true Sportster to me. And overall, yeah, I'm a big fan. But there is one thing that sort of I think could be better, and it's a bit odd actually the way they've done this, because on one side of the bike you've got the Revolution Max engine as it appears in the Pan America and the Sportster S, but if you look on the left side of the bike, the engine looks completely different. Now there's not a lot of pictures showing the left side of the bike. Maybe Harley think that that's not their best side, but I actually like the look of the engine better on the left hand side than I do the right hand side for this motorcycle. Now when this Revolution Max engine design is sitting in a Sportster S, it suits the bike. When you see this engine design, and when I say design I don't mean the configuration of the engine, I mean the aesthetics, the way the casings are designed, the visual appearance of the bike. When you see the Revolution Max engine in the 975 Sportster, it to me it doesn't look like it matches. What I would have preferred Harley done is to take the left side design of the engine aesthetically and make the right side look the same. And it's hard to find images of the left side of the engine. If you look at the design of it, it's very raw, very industrial looking. You can see the gussets in the casing, obviously there for strength, as this is a stressed member, and it just has a very raw, industrial look to it. And I would love to have seen Harley do that to the right side of the engine, especially for this bike. Now I'm not sure if they are casings that can be unbolted and you can expose that more rugged, industrial looking form underneath, or whether just the top piece unbolts and that is the shape of the casting on the bottom section, on the barrel section. It would be great if you could just unbolt those casings and expose what's underneath. And what I would also do while I was at it is to add some fins to the engine. Now I know it's a liquid cooled engine and it doesn't need fins, but if you look at Triumph's 1200 range of bikes for instance, all those bikes are liquid cooled, but they still retain the fins. Now admittedly it's probably mostly for show, but I'm sure you're going to get a little bit of extra additional cooling benefits from having those fins there, and I think this sort of bike really needs fins. So what I'm going to do when I get back home is I'm going to jump on the computer, try and find a decent image of the left side of the bike and see how that looks transposed over to the right hand side of the bike. And also then I'm going to add some fins and really just do up the bike the way I would love to see Harley produce this sort of bike. I haven't been on this road before, so not sure where it's going. I'm just riding and seeing what happens. Bit of a dead end. Goes nowhere. Just someone's driveway by it looks. People are probably wondering why I'm driving up their driveway. I'm just exploring. That's what I love about this bike. I can just ride on the bitumen, see a gravel road, jump on it, and it handles it like it's nothing. Yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll throw up some images, some renders. I haven't seen these yet, but I think it's going to look pretty good. And if I was to buy a Nightster 975, this is what I would try and do to the bike if it was possible. I'm a big fan of the Nightster 975, and I would love to get one for the channel and do it up and customize it and see what I could come up with to make it look pretty cool. I think it'd be a nice bike to ride around as well. Good power, plenty of power actually for that size engine. Good ergonomics, should be really comfortable for someone my size, 6'1". The only thing is the price. I wish it was cheaper, but then every second bike I see I wish was cheaper at the moment. Although there is one bike that's really standing out for value for money, and that's the Kawasaki 1000 SX, where its competitors are priced around 25 grand, 24 grand, 23 grand. Can't remember what the GSX-S is priced at under $20,000, 19,000 whatever. That's great value for money, especially when you consider it comes with the 6-axis IMU and all the features it has. That's really good value for money. And I do worry, I'm thinking, well, strongly considering that bike as a bike for myself. And I do worry that it's going to go up in value or up in price. At Kawasaki are going to have to put it up at some point to make it feasible to produce. Now, I've never been here before, so we'll see where this road goes. Going for a bit of an explore. I've got my GPS if I get lost. So what do you think of the Nightster 975? There is one other thing I don't like about the Revolution Max engine, and that is whenever people jump on it and start it, it seems to rev high at idle, and I don't know, I don't know what it's going to sound like with a pipe on it, because it's pretty anemic sounding with the stock system. And that's the thing I like about the Indian Scout Bobber 20 I test rode. The stock system on that and the engine had a really nice sound to it at idle. So that exhaust note, it's got a nice little lilt to it. Sounds really good actually, I like that. It just sounded so good that I wouldn't want to change the stock system. It was perfect as it was for me. And I haven't heard that on any of the Revolution Max engine bikes yet. So I don't know if they're going to be able to get that nice note out of the Revolution Max engine. It just sort of sounds like it's a more of a revving engine, and even at idle just seems to be revving higher than I would have thought for a V-twin. I suppose they have to do that to get the horsepower out of it, but I don't know, I like the sound of engines when they're just idling and sitting there lumping away, especially for a V-twin. On this sort of bike, I don't really care, but on a cruiser, I want it to sound like a cruiser. I want it to have a lot of character while it's just sitting there lumping away at idle, and then when you give it a little bit, it just sounds really good. And I got that sensation from the Scout Bobber 20. And I don't know if I'm going to get that from the Nightster 975. So the Nightster 975 all over ergonomically is, I don't know, I was going to say it's a better fit for me. Well, it is. I was going to say it's a better fit for me out of the box, and I think it'll be a better fit for a lot of people, from a wide range of riders, like putting shorter riders on it, 5'9", 5'10" riders, taller riders. It just seems like it's going to fit well for everybody. Between the Scout Rogue and the Nightster 975, which would I go for? I don't know, that engine note is a big one for me for a cruiser. I don't know if the Revolution Max engine's going to have ultimately the note that I want from a cruiser. I think as an overall bike, I think it'd be a better bike than the Rogue. I suppose it comes down to what your priorities are. I really love the Scout Bobber 20's riding position, and I love the way it rode, and I love the engine sound and the note from the exhaust. it was perfect for me, for my size and my proportions. I might jump on the Nightster 975 and feel exactly the same way. I know the Scout Rogue I wouldn't. I'd have to change the seat. Handlebars are good on the Scout Rogue, they're mini apes, but I would change the seat to that 1920s seat, like the tractor style seat, let's call it. And then I think that would be a comfortable bike for me. But the Nightster 975 is interesting to me in that it's the first cruiser style bike with mid controls that I think I would be comfortable, or more comfortable on, than having forwards. Typically I'm instantly thinking forwards when I see a cruiser, just because of my longer legs. But seeing someone my size on this bike, I would just stick with the mids, I reckon, for the Nightster 975. And the other thing I wish the Nightster 975 had at the price point that it's being sold at was cruise control. I think that should be standard at that price point. So yeah, I wish they would do that. And I don't know if there's going to be an option to even have cruise control fitted. Nowadays, that's a big one for me. I think they should all be fitted with cruise control, even if it's just a one button affair. Just press a button and it locks your speed at whatever you set it at. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. Let me know your thoughts on the Nightster 975R, what you think of my engine design changes, if you think it looks better or worse, if you love the current design, or if you think it significantly improves it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll have to try and find my way home now. And hopefully I can get to see all of you again in the next one. Bye for now.